I'm Andy Johnson. Welcome to Inside Out. This week we're in Chorley in Lancashire, where we discovered a surprising place for you to find out more about your family history. More on that later on. On tonight's programme, a family's promise to their son still missing from a holiday in Crete.
We keep saying you'll never walk alone. And he won't.
Why this Mormon temple could hold the clues to your family tree.
People say to me, have you done your family history? And I say, I'm still doing it. How long have you been doing it? 26 years. Well, when's the end of it? There is no end.
And why Manchester teenagers are building a boat in the Sahara Desert. There can be nothing worse than when a loved one goes missing without trace. You end up frozen in time, waiting for news. It's 4 months since Stephen Cook from Sandbach disappeared on holiday in Crete. As I found out, for his family, every day is a living nightmare. Well, no, this is Steve's bedroom, obsessed with Liverpool Football Club.
Very much so. I think it's just right to Liverpool Football Club. And if you look around you, you've got the Messiah, Bill Shankly and Anfield there.
Norman and Pat Cook are keeping everything in place for when Stephen comes home to Sandbach. He's been missing since the end of August, when he went on holiday to Crete with his friends. Pictures everywhere and scarves of Liverpool Football Club, a club founded on great tradition and great belief. Does that sort of tradition and belief, you know, install some hope in you as well?
Yep, as a family, we keep saying you'll never walk alone. And he won't.
Stephen's the Cook's youngest son, the baby of the family, and a student at Liverpool University.
Stephen's a very sensible, home-loving guy that is very much into things around the home in terms of his activities. He is fanatical about football, particularly Liverpool Football Club. He's the sort of guy that you're proud to have as a son. Obviously, does normal things for a guy of his age, a single lad. At Liverpool University has a circle of friends there, and he also has friends when he comes home from Liverpool a weekend or on vacation.
There's been no word of Stephen's whereabouts for more than 4 months.
I've described it before as a living nightmare. If you were to imagine, as a family man, the worst scenario you could think of for your children to get into, it will be what has happened to Stephen and our family. We really get through every day supporting each other. You know, if Pat goes uptown, I go with her. If I go out, she comes with me. I wouldn't go off and leave her on her own. I'd hate Pat to be here on her own if that phone call came through and it was bad news. I wouldn't want that.
The Cooks are a very close family, and Christmas was particularly hard.
Don't worry. You'll be strong. This is for Stephen. It is hard to cope. We've got through it. It's the only way I can describe what we've been able to do. And your emotions normally are raw and difficult to control. You just need a little thing to trigger it off, and your emotions come to the surface, and you're out of control.
It wasn't really Christmas, was it? Just went through the motions, really.
Stephen has saved hard to go on holiday with 11 of his mates in August. They flew off to the resort of Malia in Crete.
We were all just looking forward to relaxing, really. We'd had, like, a long year at uni, and everybody had various bits and pieces that was going on in their lives, so everyone was just looking forward to relaxing and having a good time with the lads, really.
But Stephen had barely unpacked his suitcase when disaster struck on their first night away.
That night we'd had a couple, we ran a bar crawl, and as the night wore on, me and Steve decided we'd go back to the hotel, and on the way we stopped off at a bar. It was in this bar that I lost him. He was quite busy in the bar, so... And then that was the last I ever saw of him after that.
We ended the night on a high. No one knew that Steve had gone missing, and it wasn't until the morning, and as soon as we realised that Steve wasn't there, we knew something was wrong, and we had to try and... I don't know, we first went to the medical centres and then to the police, and I say every day we were checking the medical centres, the hospitals, and we were putting up flyers that we'd put together out there as Steve. And we even went into the hills a little bit, as far as we could go, just putting the flyers out and asking if they'd seen anyone wandering around.
As soon as the alarm was raised, the Cooks filed a missing persons report and made arrangements for his 2 elder brothers to fly to Crete to help his friends in the search. But despite TV appeals on the Greek equivalent of Crime Watch, they were no nearer to finding Stephen.
Myself and my family would like to thank everybody in Greece and in Creta for their help. Please keep looking and help to bring my brother back to his family. And thank you, everybody, for your help in giving information tonight, and please keep looking.
As the days wore on, how did your mood change?
The lowest point was, I say, at the airport. Everyone expected to be going home together, and it was hard leaving his brothers there because they were half expecting Steve to turn up at the airport, and the flight home was horrible, to be honest. It was just the empty seat where Steve should have been, and it was hard to deal with.
In November, Norman and Pat flew to Crete with their nephew to make their own search of the island. They'd had a tip-off from a psychic saying Steve was alive and near a disused mine, so they scoured the inland areas.
I was looking for Stephen, and I was shouting for Stephen, and I came down that mountain, Mike one side, me the other, and was shouting, "Stephen, Stephen," and there was nothing. 1 or 2 buildings on the way down I was looking in, and but there was nothing. And it was at that point when Mike and I finally got back to the car that we decided that we couldn't go through that again. It was a difficult thing to have to do. Bearing in mind we were looking for Stephen, we were either looking for a body or badly injured person.
While the search for Stephen is being headed by Greek police, detectives in Cheshire are making their own inquiries.
We needed to be absolutely sure that there was nothing in Stephen's background that would make him either want to disappear or even want to make him take his own life. We're happy to report to Mr. and Mrs. Cook that despite some very intrusive investigations, we have found absolutely no reason for Stephen to want to go missing. We've found nothing in his background that would make him want to take his own life. And again, that's the sort of thing we can take to the Greek police to try and convince them that this was something that's happened in Greece that needs to be properly investigated.
Given what you've told me, what do you think has happened to Stephen?
I believe that it is unlikely that Stephen is still alive, but I cannot rule that out. And whilst I cannot rule it out, we have to continue to do what we can to try and investigate every possible scenario. It is likely that Stephen's been the victim of crime. It is likely he's been the victim of a tragic misadventure, which has led to his body never being recovered to date. But he could still be alive, and we are still working in the local area of Greece, together with the Greek police, to try and do what we can to find Stephen.
Every year, around 50 Britons are murdered abroad. The Cooks are praying that Stephen won't become another statistic.
There's something that tells me that he's still there. He's there. He's out there somewhere. And it's not just me. His brothers, his sister, all the family, my sister. Just doesn't make sense, any of it. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to us. It doesn't make sense to the police. It's just one of them things that you wish you'd never had to come up against, because it's an absolute nightmare.
What we're after is just a spark of
Somebody somewhere
information.
knows something they must do.
That's really what we're after, isn't it, love?
And if they can live with that on the conscience, then I don't know how they can.
Deep down, do you believe you will see Steve again?
Definitely. There is no doubt in my mind that he will be back. It's just a case of how long we have to wait before we can, before we can next see him. But he will definitely be back, I'm certain of it.
Have you contemplated that you might get a call and the news might be bad?
We all have to be realistic. And, of course, that may happen. But I keep going back to the fact that there is no evidence to suggest that, and while there is no evidence, there's hope. And you carry on day to day. And you go on day to day because that day might be the time when you get the phone call. And if that phone call is negative as far as we're concerned, then we will be able to put closure on it. We'll be able to get our son back here and do what we need to do. It'll be hard, but we'll do it. He'll be with us.
If you have any information about Stephen's disappearance, please call 01244 613 511 or visit our website. Coming up, missing Manchester after 3 weeks working in the Sahara Desert.
Can't wait to go home and just have Chippy. That'd be nice.
The Mormon Temple is one of the most recognisable landmarks in the region. You see it as you head up and down the M61. It's enjoyed a huge upsurge in visitor numbers, not necessarily from people looking for spiritual enlightenment, but enlightenment about their past, as Lawrence Westgaff discovered.
The Preston Temple of the Latter-day Saints is only the second of its kind in the UK. Opened in 1998, it's a sacred site for all Mormons.
I'm not a Mormon, but I am passionate about genealogy, and like the Mormons, I do believe that everybody should know where they come from. Now, I know many of you will have already started your family trees, and like me, you may have become stuck. Now, I'm looking for my grandmother's ancestors, and I'm hoping a trip here to the Mormon Temple will help me to find out more.
I'm into genealogy because I find it fascinating, but for the Mormons it's a fundamental part of their faith.
Latter-day Saints believe that the family is the building block of society, that families can be for eternity and that they are together for eternity. And so as part of that, we want to know who our families are, our ancestors. And you know, because you've searched out your own family, that it's a fascinating thing to go looking for your family. And as part of our church doctrine, we take the admonition of the Saviour Jesus Christ literally when he said that all should be baptized. And so we search out our ancestors to try and find them so that we can be baptized by proxy for them. I've done that for my great-great-grandparents, and it's a really wonderful experience.
Over the years, I've spent plenty of time in the Liverpool Records office, and I've discovered that part of my family arrived here from Barbados in 1822. But visits to local archives could one day become a thing of the past, as the Mormons are putting the information stored in them onto the internet. This is a painstaking task carried out by Mormon volunteers like Malcolm Twigg.
Well, I'm digitising the parish church records of Liverpool St. Peter. This is a marriage register that contains 500 marriages going back to 1844.
So how long would it take you to do something like a book like this?
Well, as I said, there's 500 marriages in this book. It would take me approximately half an hour to do the 500 marriages.
And how many books like this do you think make up the archives of Liverpool?
Oh, I think there's thousands and thousands of books like this. And I can probably do about 10 or 12 of these in a day. So it is quite a long process.
So literally it could take years to do a city like Liverpool then?
It could do if we did every record that was available, but you have to remember that we only film records that are over 100 years old. So it is only the ancient records that we film. And so that cuts down the time, effort required.
Copies of these records, and hundreds of thousands like them from all over the world, are stored in a specially designed vault in the side of a mountain in Utah, giving the Mormon Church a unique library of genealogical records, a resource that they can then make available to family history libraries worldwide. The site for the Preston Temple was chosen because of the importance played by the Northwest in establishing and sustaining the Mormon faith.
first Mormon missionaries from the United States arrived in Liverpool in 1837, but they didn't stay in Liverpool. They felt that they should come to the Preston area to work. Now, why is Preston important? Well, because the first work was here in Preston, outside of the United States, because the oldest continuous branch of the church is in Preston and has been since 1837, and because many of those Lancastrian people left and went to live in the United States. They emigrated in the early 1800s. About 100,000 of them in 20 years left, and they settled in Salt Lake City in Utah.
The temple's only open to certain Mormons, but there is one place on the complex that's open to everyone, and that's the Family History Centre. That's where I'm going now.
The Family History Centre is crammed full of wonderful resources. Everything you'd need to trace your family tree, whether it be census returns, births, marriages and deaths, or microfiche parish documents. It's a haven for people like Ray Mingard, who's into his 3rd decade of research.
People say to me, have you done your family history? And I say, I'm still doing it. How long have you been doing it? 26 years. Well, when's the end of it? There is no end. It never ends. It ends when you want it to end. But in fact, you can go on the rest of your life. There are so many records available in these sort of places. You could live 10 lifetimes and you would never see everything there is available to see. And that's why it's fascinating.
So you're obviously very enthusiastic. Is it addictive?
Well, it is. This is a social thing as well. You don't just go and sit on your own and look through feature or film. I go to the local Family History Centre as well as here. It's social. The people here are my friends. They're not just people who run the place. We're friends. The reason I do it is because I love my name. I'm proud of my name. And I want to know more about it. That's why I do it.
Family history centres like these have allowed thousands of people to trace their family trees, some as far back as biblical times.
Ken, do you see many people like Ray?
Yes, we have a good many people like Ray that use the facilities here. It's a real cross-match of people that make use of the facilities that's available.
So what type of things do you research?
Well, research, particularly, if there's information that they're looking for, maybe on the birth, marriage or death index, or maybe they're looking for families or some confirmation on the census records that we hold here.
So I spoke to you earlier on the phone about my family, and I gave you the name of a great-great-great-grandmother of mine, Hannah Cox. Formerly she was Stubbs. So I was just wondering, have you managed to find anything out?
Well, we have some wonderful news for you in that department. Yes, in our research we found that Hannah Stubbs, I'll just show you, born in Yorkshire and actually christened in Cheshire. So that's information that you're probably unaware of. And we've researched further back than that with Hannah Stubbs' parents, which were John Stubbs and Hannah Stubbs. And from there we located the marriage, and then from that we've been able to find her parents as well. So
wow, so good results.
Good results, yes.
Found out that she was a Yorkshire lass, eh?
True, yes, according to the information we have, yes.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Ken. That's like set me off in a whole new direction now. Right. I have to go over the Pennines.
Yes, well, we're glad to help all we can.
Thanks a lot.
Anytime you need help, just need to ask.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Having visited the Preston Temple and seen its amazing facilities, for me, it's no longer just a landmark on the M61.
I've had an absolutely great day today, although I must admit I still am a bit shocked about the fact I've got some Yorkshire blood in me. But I've found a whole new line of my family to research, and that's the great thing about family history. It keeps going on, and you always got new things to find out.
Now, it takes a lot of specialist skill to build boats like these. So when a group of Manchester carpentry students were invited to build a replica of an ancient Egyptian ship, they jumped at the chance, not least because it meant a trip to the Sahara Desert, as JC Norman reports.
It's a long way from inner city Manchester. These teenagers are in Siwa, a remote Egyptian oasis in the Sahara Desert, close to the Libyan border. They've been invited to build a ship in a town which has no tradition of sailing, despite being surrounded by saltwater lakes. Gallery owner Michael Hugh Williams wants to build a boat here, but it will be made from bamboo and reeds and created purely in the name of art.
The ethos behind this is really to bring artists from the outside world to Siwa, to engage the local community, to create something that is ephemeral and has a sort of you had to be there feel about it.
Dave Harold teaches carpentry at Manchester College of Arts and Technology, known as ManCat. He's been working on the ship for 2 weeks with the help of his son and a team of carpentry students.
I get so much excitement out of a project, a challenge, and sharing it with the lads. You may get tired doing it, you may get fed up doing it, but when you get the end result and it's finished, the satisfaction of, you know, we've done that.
It's a culture shock, basically, coming out here. Compared to where I live, it's totally different. I've had a lifetime experience. It's amazing. It's just, I'd never get this chance again, never.
It's a brilliant experience. I won't give it up for the world.
Seems weird to build a boat in a desert. But there you go.
The ship has been designed by Russia's most influential artist, Ilya Kabakov. He wants the youngsters who will work on the project to make a connection with ancient Egypt. Dave has worked with him before.
Well, for the last 10 months since I got the drawings or the sketches, it's just going through them, studying them. I think I've been going to sleep thinking about the boat, and I've been waking up thinking about the boat. So all this time it's the idea of what I think it should look like. I'm hoping it's exactly what Ely wants. It's, you know, I'm happy with it. Feely is happy, that's everything, isn't it?
The team has successfully been working on the project with locals from Siwa, despite the language barrier.
It's hard to understand them sometimes when they come talking to you, but if you do listen to them, they're doing hand motions, you can pick it up quite easy. But being here, I've learnt like a couple of words, like thank you and stuff like that. So when they say that, it's like, oh, I know what they've said now.
The artist, who is a perfectionist, is due to arrive any day. In the meantime, he's set them a deadline. In 5 days' time, the boat must be finished. Critics and collectors from around the world will fly in to see the work of art for one night only.
He always likes to set a nice challenge, does Ilya?
But can they make it? Ilya finally arrives to inspect the ship's progress. He decides to make some changes.
That's only heavy this piece.
Okay, yeah, go and have a look.
The team starts work on the alterations, now under Ilya's watchful eye.
In progress, work in progress. Good.
But Dave is confident they will rise to the challenge.
I didn't choose the best carpenters or the best joiners. It was their attitude to work, the personalities, and those who wanted the challenge. And these lads are the result.
The next day brings new problems for Dave.
Before finish, I'm not happy.
No.
No. Problem is asymmetric. This is okay. Only rope for this. That's the problem.
The mast
This
is
is okay.
bent,
That's the problem.
and the two men can't decide how to solve the problem. Tensions are rising. Ilya's wife and interpreter Amelia steps in as a peacemaker.
Difference of opinions. We have to come to one opinion finally. That's the main challenge. Not how to do it, but to unite.
It's the weak bamboo. These are all just test pieces. If it works after the test, then we'll get it done.
The pressure is on for the students. Despite the setbacks, the boat must be ready on time. But after nearly 3 weeks working in the heat of the desert, they're tired and missing Manchester.
Can't wait to go home and just have chippy. That'd be nice. The heat's bothering me now. It's like really hot.
I'm really that tired. Up at 6 in the morning, bed at 8. So I just can't wait to get finished now.
The day before the show and the sale arrives. It's made up from scores of vibrant paintings by local school children.
Some are really good, aren't they? Yeah, they're fabulous. Feels like about 2,000, I think, but there isn't.
I think the drawings are really nice, actually. They're doing better than me, actually.
They all have to be sewn individually together and then hung from the somewhat fragile mast. It's a huge task. It's hard to know where to begin.
It's difficult work, yes.
For Ilya, the task seems almost impossible, and time's running out. The audience will arrive in just 24 hours' time to see the finished work of art, and the weather forecast doesn't look good.
Wind's getting a little bit heavy, so it's it should hold up. The mast isn't what we wanted. It's not thick enough, but we're going to see if we can make do what we've got.
The morning of the show and Dave's warnings prove correct.
Very, very strong winds last night, and it's completely blown the ship round onto the sand here. So it shows it's floating, but we've now got to get it back off. We're grounded last day as well, eh? Always happens. See what we can do.
With the deadline fast approaching, the team is forced to spend valuable time shifting the boat off the sandbank. Locals are drafted in to sew the sail together.
This is the crucial, the sail's the big part. If this happens, it's been a big success.
With hours to go, the team put the finishing touches to the boat.
Everything's getting there. You can see the end now, yeah. I couldn't a few days ago.
Do you feel proud of what you've done?
Yeah, I do now. Now I can see it, yeah. It's great.
Loved it. I can't wait to do another one.
Dave is still battling with the elements to raise the sail as the audience arrives. But at last it's up, and the ancient Egyptian ship can be seen in all its glory. Ilya is happy and full of praise for Dave and the students from Manchester.
Он действительно это феноменальный человек, это Дэвид и, конечно, его брат.
The people we work with from Manchester are unbelievable. This is not the first time we've worked with Dave. He's outstanding and a fantastic teacher.
Этого дела, это совершенно феноменально.
The fact that we've brought students also from Manchester who've integrated and worked with people here has been very, very interesting for these young teenage boys who've worked unbelievably hard on the project, and hopefully who'll never forget the experience of being here.
They're stronger people when they get back. More aware of the world, more aware of other people's surroundings, other people's cultures. My concern with the student is not just teaching them a trade, but you're teaching them skills for life.
As the sun sets on Siwa, the team from Manchester can return home, having created a unique work of art for a world-famous artist in the middle of the Sahara Desert, for one night only.
Well, that's it for us for this week. We're back again next Monday at 7:30 on BBC One. See you then. Bye-bye.
Next week on Inside Out, as more and more people in the Northwest have cosmetic surgery, we investigate what happens when it goes wrong.
I could see, like there's still a lump, a hole there, plus the other navel. I thought, I've got two navels here.
On her way home from hospital next on BBC One, Ruby's returning to Albert Square.
Most people grew up with the 99, but I really grew up with it. My family have been making ice cream for years, and yet why by sticking a flake in it is it called a 99? I don't know.
Mooch. Because your mouth looks good when you say it.
Favourite words, fascinating stories. Balderdash and Piffle continues on BBC Two.
The one to watch tonight.
You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your No, that's not it, is it? You have the right to remain silent. Your neck! It's got a verruca!
Life on Mars at 9 here on BBC One. So drama not to be missed in an hour on BBC One as Sam heads for another bust-up with the DCI. First though, Ruby returns.